Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. So, um, shall we just kind of explain what we've just done to this point? Are you both still there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
the feed doesn't seem to be working though
Oh, it's a lot of fun, isn't it?
on your profile, unless I've got the wrong one. It
Uh,
still says please stand by, starting soon.
hang on. No, no, no. It's live. I think it might be a different link. It's the. I'll show you the link. Um, it's this one. Every time I go in.
That's what mine looks like.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I can hear. I can hear. Sorry, I can hear the broadcast. So I think one of you's got the window open because it's like I can hear my own voice from about a minute ago.
That might be me. What should I close?
Right. Right. Okay. Right. Let's start again. Okay. Basically, I mean, we were just having a little conversation and setting ourselves up kind of offline, and so what we've done is I've created a basic repository at the moment in Git, which just contains the standard HTML5 boilerplate that you can get online, and it's just we've set that up, and we've got Kirsten and James who've both got the boilerplate checked out onto their local machines. So that's where we're up to. So you've both got SourceTree installed, am I right about that?
Yeah.
I downloaded it. I haven't actually installed it, but I can do it really quick.
Yeah, if you want to just do
Or I
that.
can just do it on the command line.
Yeah, I mean, if you're comfortable on the command line, that's fine. One of the reasons I wanted to use this program is just because it's I think it's good for kind of illustrating, because you get a really nice graphical view of what's going on. So, James, can you see my screen? Okay.
I can, yeah. I don't know what I need to add though.
Okay. Well, because James is a bit less experienced with obviously source control, so what I'd like to do is, could you just follow me in SourceTree and we'll go from there if that's all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So if you can see so at the moment I've got the folder here in my in Finder. Okay. And if you just want to do what I'm doing here, so in SourceTree in the bookmarks window, you can see. Yep. If you just drag it, it's just drag it into that, and you should get this view here like this. Okay.
I've got something similar.
I think you can actually share your screen with us, if you want to do that.
It's not all expanded out like yours.
Okay. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll share my screen. It's fine.
Okay.
How do I do that?
So there's an option in the top left. It's really annoying every time I go in here I get this. But in the top left,
Screen share.
Yeah, screen share. If you do that, I think I should be able to see your screen as well. It's all very high tech.
It's clever, isn't it? Really.
It is. Yeah, so I can see my screen on your screen now, which is just weird.
So this is what I have. Can you see that?
Yeah. Okay. So that's fine. So that just means basically that the repository that we've created is in your bookmarks in SourceTree now. So if you double click that, okay, right, and if you click on, so right now there's not a lot to see. If you click on master, can you see on the left? That's that's the branch that we're currently on. So what we'll do is, I think if we just start, we'll make a few changes and we'll kind of make a few commits along the way and hopefully able to kind of explain what's going on. Okay, so do you want to open up this project in a code editor, just so you can kind of see?
Yeah, I've got it open in Sublime.
Yeah. Okay. So you've never used any form of version control at all, is that right?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's a good thing really, because obviously I want to kind of explain hopefully the basics. So, do you understand the principles behind what version control can do? Do you understand any of it? Yeah. So, okay, so you understand about, obviously, you create snapshots at certain points in time, and you understand how if you were to make an error or something like that, you can revert back in history.
Yeah.
So you know about that. What I'd like to do is to make a few commits along the way here, and what we'll start doing is we'll start creating branches, and I'll kind of show you how that works. So, do you want to just make a few changes actually to begin with, just inside the index file in Sublime?
Okay.
And what I'd like to do as well is we'll get Kirsten, if you want to make some changes as well in a minute after this, we'll go through a few basic commits and stuff, and then we'll start going through a bit of a workflow, if that's all right.
Well, I've got a little bit of catching up to do because I just finished installing SourceTree, so I'm just getting it.
Yeah, I mean the fact that you're used to using Git on the command line, is.
Yeah, I think I'll manage. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Okay, I made some changes.
Oh right, I can't. All right, I think there's a bit of lag on your screen to mine.
I think I did it on the other screen.
Oh, right, okay.
Are
you okay?
I'll pull it over and I'll show you.
Yeah. Okay.
I've just added that in.
What is that? What have you got there? Oh yeah, changed by James. Right. Okay. Okay. So now, if you go back to SourceTree. So before we go into this a bit further, so do you know anything? Do you understand the differences between a version control system like Git as opposed to say Subversion? Do you know anything about it? It's okay if you don't, because that's kind of what.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Just out of interest, Kirsten, do you know the kind of historical differences as well?
Well, I started using Subversion right when Git was becoming popular and dropped it really quickly. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I know in terms of WordPress and things like that, but I've never really used Subversion. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing because Subversion was for a long time the most popular version control system, and I mean, I went through a period not that long ago where I had to use it despite having used Git for quite a while, and it's just really painful. But because Git's got a completely different approach to version control, so Subversion historically version control systems before Git and version control systems like Mercurial came along, they were all server-based, so they were centralized version control systems. So what that meant was you would have one server, and the entire version control history would only exist on that server. If you were doing some work now, so we've all made we've all cloned. We've got basically 3 copies of this same project at the moment. Okay. Using the Subversion model, we would only have, on our local machines, we would only have the actual files that we're editing at any moment in time. And the only place where the version control history exists is on the server, which means for one thing, if the server goes down, nobody can make any commits or anything like that. It makes it much slower. And obviously you can't commit offline and that kind of thing. But so on Git, Git uses what's called a decentralized system, which basically means that every single person who clones the repository has an entire clone of all the version control history. So right now, this repository only has one commit on it called initial commit. But if there were 1,000 commits on there, all 3 of us would have all the history on our computer, so we could disconnect and still go back in time, and that kind of thing. You can still make branches and all that kind of thing. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. Okay. So hypothetically, if you, Kirsten, and I didn't talk again about this project for say a year, and we all go, we do all these different things, and we branch off in different ways, what will then happen when we all sort of connect again? Will they all get? Will everyone then receive everybody else's?
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't want to do something like that. You wouldn't want to all disappear for a year. I mean, that would be kind of crazy. I mean, yeah. So essentially, what happens is, I mean, it is like that, but really, what you want to be doing is constantly branching and constantly merging your work. Now, we'll go into more details about branches in a bit. Branching is one of those things that before I really understood it. So going back in time to about 6 or 7 years ago, I started a new job where they all used Mercurial, okay, and it was the first time I'd used distributed version control, right? Now, prior to that, I was always afraid of creating branches because I'd only done it in Subversion, and in Subversion, branching itself is not that hard, but merging is very, very difficult. Whereas in Git, it's really easy, right? To the point that, you know, it's not even unusual to make 4 or 5 branches and merge them in a day. But what's really powerful about it is just it gives you the power to kind of explore and you know, to make mistakes and stuff like that. You're not scared of breaking anything because you've got this kind of separate parallel line of development. But we'll go into that in a minute if you're okay with that.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay,
so what we'll do is, just to get a bit of version control history in here now. So you've made a change now, okay? So in source tree, if you click on where it says uncommitted changes, and it'll show you what's changed since the last commit. Now, can you see where it says unstaged files? Now, it looks like more's changed there than actually has, and I think that's because you've probably done some indenting.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's picked up on the indenting. So, okay. Right. So what we'll do, it picks up on white space and everything. So what we'll do is, do you want to just commit what you've done there? So just for the moment, if you drag where it says unstaged files at the bottom, can you see? I can't click on your screen, can I? Yeah.
Yeah.
If you just drag the index into stage files now. I'll explain if you want me to what stage and unstage is in a minute. I think we'll do a few commits and then I'll explain what that's for.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
What do I do with this?
Okay. So click commit in the top left. Can you see the icon for commit? And now, oh right. So it's just asking you to set up some details there. Okay. Yep. So and then where you've got that text box, if you put you actually put a textual description. Yeah. So it's probably good to actually put what you did, you know, as a general good practice. So yeah, that's cool. Okay. And then click commit. Okay. Well, yeah, that's fine. Oh, you don't need to do that. It'll record that you changed it. So oh right, sorry, that's the text that you put in. Okay. Yeah. Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. So click commit.
Matter does it? I suppose for this test.
Okay. So, a few things you might notice. You'll notice where it says push at the moment, but ignore that for now. So what's happened now is you've made a commit on your local machine, right?
Yeah.
Commits are always local in Git, okay? So neither me or Kirsten have any access to the commit that you've just made at the moment. And you could make as many commits as you want, like you said before. Technically, you could do this for a year if you really wanted to go crazy. We can only see that commit when you push it, and that's when you push it to the server. But let's do a few more first. We can do a few more. So I just want to get a bit of history in there, you see. So
do you want me to do some too, so that we can, or is that?
Yeah, actually, we can do that. So if you want to do that, so before you do it though, because I don't want to do any merging just yet. We'll come to merging in a moment. But so James, if you want to push that, and Kirsten, are you okay to share your screen as well, if that's all right?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how.
So there's an option. If you hover over the left-hand side, there's like a green icon that says screen share.
The left-hand side of
the broadcast. So where?
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Screen share. There it is. Yeah.
So I should be able to click on you.
So which screen should you see? Well.
This one. I think you get to.
That's good. Okay.
Okay, I think it's doing something.
I don't know if I've got
Yeah.
my.
I can see you.
Yeah, I've got everything on that one.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so so now all you should do. So if you're okay to do it for now in Source Tree, just because I think for people watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you go into Source Tree now, and if you just click on pull, and hopefully it should pull down the change.
Awesome. Hang on. Close some of these. What?
Yeah, I've only seen the first episode of Tree Detective. It's seems.
Is it good?
Yeah.
I forgot I was actually doing that. Hang on. There we are. Source Tree.
I'll try and edit that. I'm sure we can get it out.
Yeah, that might be. Probably should have stopped that first.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So if you just click on pull on the, can you see it in the middle there?
Pull. Yeah.
Yeah. So that should.
Martin.
Yeah, that's.
So just like that, no?
Yeah. So just click OK, and that should be fine. So we should now. You should get James's stuff. And is it there? Ooh.
Is it committed?
Yeah, you did commit it, didn't you? That's interesting.
Yeah, I hit push.
Did you get any error message at all? I'm just going to try it myself.
If you look at my screen, you'll see what I've got.
Okay, hang on a sec. Let me try it myself. Oh, I've got it. Hang on. It's worked for me. Okay, that's a bit weird. Let's just... Can you just try it again? That's quite strange.
Yeah. Alright. Master, right?
Yeah, should be.
All those. Origin.
Yeah. Oh, looks right.
That.
That's really weird. Okay, I wonder if...
Maybe because I have it open on the command line as well. Hold on.
Shouldn't make a difference. I mean, do you want to just try doing a git pull from the command line? I don't know why it'd make any difference though. It's quite odd. Yeah, it's worked. That's quite bizarre. Well, hang on a sec. But if you go back into Source Tree now, does it update? Because it should update. Otherwise,
is there a refresh type thing?
well, I think if you just, yeah. Are you sure you haven't cloned it twice by mistake? Have you, and dragged the wrong one or something?
I don't think so.
Because it should definitely show you. Yeah, it should definitely.
Master.
That's really weird. Do you want to just try going to your bookmarks in Source Tree, deleting that, and then just drag and dropping it again?
Let's see.
I don't know what's going on there.
That one. Delete.
Yeah.
Remove bookmarks, or also move the trash.
Just remove the bookmarks, I guess, because you've pulled it.
Let's see. Which is it? These are from. Oh, I might have done it into.
Yeah. So, do you want to try just dragging and dropping from your local machine? Because I think that might be why.
Yeah, I can try it. Where are you? Oh, here it is.
Your desktop is so much tidier than mine. It's ridiculous.
It's just because I clean it off every night before I go to bed.
Oh god, no.
OCD.
Mine's just an absolute disgrace. I never have it showing actually.
Same here. I'm scared of it.
Yeah.
Now I've got this thing at the top that says messy desktop. That's everything I haven't filed.
Wow. Oh, there you go.
Let's not click that.
I won't show you that.
Okay, yeah, so if you want to go to, so that's working now, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so shall we? Do you want to just do another commit? So we'll make another change and just get a couple more commits going, and then we'll start. We'll actually start branching.
So we'll keep James doing it, so we don't have any conflicts or anything.
Oh no, I was going to say if you want to do it.
Oh, I can, yeah.
Yeah. So what's happened? There won't be a conflict now because you and James are at the same point. But we'll deliberately create a conflict in a minute.
I'll do something in the CSS maybe, just to.
Yeah. Okay.
Color.
While you're at it, do you want to just open the index file in the browser so we can visually see the difference as well?
Yep. Oops.
I wonder if anyone's actually watching on YouTube right now. I doubt
it. Could be.
Girlfriend downstairs or something.
A bit of moral support.
Yeah. I'll check later. Can't be all.
Alright.
Right. Okay. Did you manage to open that in the browser? I was just.
Oh, sorry. Right. Hang on.
I have it in the browser.
Yeah.
There we are. Change by James. There we are.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it's on the other screen. Sorry. Here we go.
I was going to say, can't see it yet. Okay. Nice. Okay. Okay. And you changed a colour there, didn't you? But was that something that's not displaying?
I changed. I should make it better change. Hang on. But I didn't push it yet.
Okay. Oh, well, you shouldn't need to push it to see it on your own machine, though.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on.
You've changed text area colour. Yeah. Do you want to just stick a text area on the page then, and we'll just because you changed the text area colour there, didn't you?
There you go.
Oh, right.
It's HTML as well.
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So do you want to commit that?
Yeah.
We'll push that up.
Okay. Shall I do it in source tree then?
Yeah. If that's. Yep.
So hold on.
So if you click on uncommitted changes, it'll show you the exact lines. So you get this nice little visual demonstration.
Yeah. Okay.
While you're at it, actually, shall we commit more than one file just to kind of show? Because just to explain to James as well. So a commit can contain any number of files. So you could have 1,000 files if you really wanted to. There's not really any set rules about how many files a commit has.
Yeah. Do you want me to change them as well, or just Kirsten?
For now, if we just keep it to Kirsten, and then we'll start adding some. We'll deliberately have some merge conflicts in a bit, just to show you how you deal with that kind of stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So now.
So do I have to do? Can I do add? What's the equivalent of add?
So right now it's literally just dragging and dropping the files. Well, that's the files. Yeah, so the files have already been added. They're already being kind of watched by version control.
Okay.
But right now it's effectively if you drag and drop them from unstage to stage, that's putting them in the staging area. I don't know if you use the staging area and get. But yeah. I mean, yeah. So if you drag those.
Yeah, well, usually what I would do is I would do get and
so if you do that, so now if you go so now if you go into source tree, you should see that they move,
and then changes,
and she's in Vim. Check that out. So do you both code in source tree then, and in general? Sorry, source tree.
Sublime, you mean?
Sublime, yeah, Sublime.
Yeah.
So
you're not that much of a fan, are you, Paul?
You've read my post on that forum, haven't you?
I remember posting up a picture of some handbags a few months ago.
Yeah. I do remember that actually. I like Sublime. I think it's okay, but so you should be able to push that now.
And then I'll push it with this.
Yeah.
Practice you. GUI.
The reason I use because I use IntelliJ, but the reason I use it is the main reason is for refactoring support, and maybe in a future kind of screencast we'll get into that. I mean, what I'm hoping to do with this is the overall project. I'd like to use a methodology called test-driven development, which I don't know. Are you familiar with that, either of you? Or?
No.
Okay, but it's something that we use in work basically. We've been using it now for, well, I've been doing it for over a year now, and it's completely changed the way that I write code. It's actually crazy. There was a piece of work that I did, which was for like the World Cup. Do you know where I work and stuff? I don't know if I've ever mentioned.
Well, I'm guessing BBC, judging by your email address.
Did you see that? All right, is that my? Oh, right.
Yeah, when you show your screen, it's at the bottom of the source tree.
Oh, that's really subtle, that, wasn't it? Nice one. I really didn't think about that. Yeah, so I work for the BBC Sport website, and yeah, so basically, test-driven development has completely changed the way that I kind of think about code, and we follow a practice called refactoring, which I'm not going to go into any massive detail here about what refactoring is and stuff, but this is why I use IntelliJ, though, because it makes it so easy. But essentially the theory behind it is that you constantly kind of changing your code around and stuff just to improve the quality of it. So rather than the code getting messier over time, it actually gets cleaner over time. And test-driven development massively helps with that, because I can literally press a button. Do you want to see something on my screen? I know this is a bit of a kind of segue, but probably I don't know if I should even be doing this, but I'll do it anyway. I'll show you. So if you
delete it out later.
Okay, yeah. So can you see on my screen? Are you both watching my screen at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me do. I have to boot up a virtual machine, but it takes 2 seconds on this thing. 1 second. So let me show you something on the website. I can get this one because we need like a live sporting event. So there won't be anything live now, will there? So I don't know if you've ever, like for the World Cup, for example, this won't have an actual live page, I don't think. No. So for the World Cup, for example, we've been working on this product called BBC Live, okay, and it's an entire kind of application built in AngularJS, and one of the things I did was the live score component for the World Cup. So when a goal goes in, the score will update in real time, so it's about 15-20 seconds behind. But in order to develop that, there's loads of technical challenges that we had. But part of it, we basically, for technical reasons that I won't go into, we couldn't see it on the page for a while because we were waiting for another part of the system to be finished, right? But we still managed to develop a massive chunk of it without even being able to see it in the view, because we were using this thing called test-driven development, which is kind of crazy, really. I'll try and show you here. Well, this is something we'll go into another time, but it's still connecting. Have you made some more commits there, Kirsten?
Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm actually just scribbling something.
All right. It's suddenly got a bit hard to hear you.
Oh, sorry. Is that better?
Yeah, that's much better.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to sort of get used to the.
Here, can't I?
Did I do that wrong?
So, I can still hear you. So.
Yeah, I was trying to amend one, and it was probably a bad idea.
What I'm going to show you now, right, is these are what's called the unit tests for these live pages, and basically, I mean, this is like a sneak preview of something we'll do in the future. But if I run this now, can you see all these dots?
Mm-hmm.
Each one of them is like a specific test testing for a specific kind of feature and stuff. Now, if I went and broke any piece of code so that it didn't meet the requirements, I would get a failure just by running that one command. and this is kind of test-driven development. That's kind of why, I know it's a bit of a segue, but that's kind of why I like IntelliJ, but we'll go into that in the future.
Okay. So it almost turns your interpreted code into something you have to compile.
Yeah, you kind of, yeah. I mean, we actually do use a form of compilation, but actually what you were seeing there, it wasn't actual compilation. It was it's kind of hard to explain without going into TDD a lot, but basically you run scenarios against your code, and you basically say, for example, under this scenario, I expect this output, and that basic program that you saw there was running all them scenarios. So we know that the code is working. Okay, so we've got 4 commits there, right? Okay, so if you wanted to go back in time, what you can do is, I mean, in source tree, you just literally double-click at any point. So, for example, yeah, if you wanted to go back to there, we're on Kirsten's machine now. Yeah. So if you just double-clicked on it.
Double-click.
Yep.
And then it'll change.
It'll take.
OK.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So it's If you click OK there, I think. Oh, right. It's actually. Hang on. If you just click on checkout existing, because it thinks you're checking out a different branch there.
All right.
Yeah. But anyway, you can go back in time at any point. So there you go. If you click on that, click OK. It's just to kind of demonstrate the point. So, yeah, ignore the warning about detached head. But so the point there, though, James, is say if you, I don't know, you've been working on something and you do a couple of hours worth of work and you find that something just suddenly stops working, you can go back in time to kind of any point, which is one of the one of the biggest kind of advantages to it. Another thing you can do, which we're not going to go into detail here right now, but again, we will do another time, is when you come to deploy your website, rather than using FTP, which is pretty old school, if you're using FTP to deploy, the problem that you get is you might edit 20 files for a change, if you're doing quite a lot of stuff. You have to remember individually all these files. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, what you can do with Git is, if you're using Git to deploy, you can literally just SSH into the server, and you just do a Git pull on the server, and it will just update all.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, it does all the files straight away. Okay.
But you have to have Git installed on the server.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Which is sometimes difficult with shared hosting packages. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are kind of like hacky solutions around that allow you to kind of combine Git with FTP.
I've got Git FTP.
Yeah. So okay. So I've never. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. It's it's not ideal. It's sort of the advantages of versioning and the slowness of FTP.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the real downsides to FTP as well is because it is so slow. If you do have a commit with, say, quite a few files, and maybe some of them are bigger than others and stuff like that, if you've got a website of any kind of scale, then you're going to have a point in time where your website will actually be broken while you're uploading files.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you've got 50 files and only 25 are uploaded, somebody goes on at that point, and that's not a problem with Git, due to the way it kind of works. Okay, do you want to shall we start making some branches, and I'll explain the kind of flow that we have. In fact, if you want to look at my screen, and I'll show you a sample project. Let me just find one. I'm just thinking what I should really show. I might just try one of these, which isn't a BBC one. I'll show you very quickly a BBC one, but this is just so you get the outline of the view. Do you see? Can you see like how many branches we've got here?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, obviously this is on a larger scale. There's a lot of people working there, but this.
I'm sorry. Do you do a branch per feature then?
Exactly that. Yeah, we do exactly that. So you can see here feature branches. Do you see that? And they've all, in our instance, we're using a ticketing system, so they've got the name of the ticket on them as well. So 4160, 4161, this kind of thing. And we use special kind of, we've got some statistics that go, like a statistical package in the background, so it picks up on things like the name of the branch. We're not going to go into that much detail, but this is why we've got like bug and feature and this kind of thing. So, yeah. So essentially what we do though, let me pull down the changes. Essentially what we do is exactly that. We create a branch for every single feature. Now, branching is just, it's an absolute, I still think it's an absolutely incredible thing. You know, it's just the fact that you can create a branch and experiment even, you know, if you've got an idea for something but you're not quite sure whether it'll break something else, for example, you can just create a branch and you can test it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter, you can just discard the branch. If it does work, everybody can, you know, comment on it, you can merge your changes in. It works really, really well. So what we could do here, let's say, so can we try and think of like so there's three of us here, so if we think of three different features that we could be working on. So shall we say Kirsten's working on some, for now what I'll do is deliberately do this so we don't get any merge conflicts, just for now. So Kirsten, shall we say that you're working on some CSS changes?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, and James, shall we say you're working on some content on the home page?
Yeah, sure.
So you can add some new paragraphs, and what am I working on? I don't know. Shall I just be adding some new files for the time being? So I'll add some new HTML pages for now. So what we can do. So if you want to watch how I do it on my machine, then I'll just do it in source tree again. So if we call it, so I'll call mine feature new HTML pages. And if you want to give your branches similar kind of names, and if we all do a couple of commits on our branches, so
I hit branch and then just give it a new content.
Yeah, I'm actually going to do mine in Sublime. Why not? There you go.
Wait, you like it really?
No, I just can't be bothered with IntelliJ because it takes ages to mess about. Right. So, okay. So, James, have you created a branch there? Did you?
I've just created one, yeah.
Yep. And did you call it feature something something basically?
No, I called it new _content _on_ index.html.
All right.
Sorry, shall we
okay.
rename it?
Yeah. If you just want to rename it, just put prefix it with feature _.
Okay. So how do I rename it?
I think in source tree, let's just go here. So in source tree, you can just right click on the branch like this and put rename.
Yeah. Oh, right click on the branch and hit rename.
Yeah. So one thing I just want to point out here, are you just watching my screen for a moment?
Okay.
Okay. So before you do this, actually, just to explain kind of how this works, this is one of the reasons I want to do this in source tree, because I think branching, it really helps to see it kind of visually. So what's happening? You see these blue tags? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you read it? Okay. Origin master feature HTML. Yep.
Yeah.
New HTML pages. So what this means is, so master here is that's my local branch. So it's my local master branch, right? Feature new pages is also my local feature new pages. Okay, that's the branch that I've just created. Now Git is intelligent enough to know, because I've created that off master. It's intelligent enough to know that it's basically exactly the same, which is why you don't see any other commits. You just see this tag on at the same level. And origin master, origin just means that's the name of the remote. It's like a tag for the remote server. So origin is the only server we have at the moment. So all that means is that, so it just really quickly show you. So if I do a commit on feature new HTML pages, I'm just going to create just watch. Oh, sorry, Go up in IntelliJ. If you just watch what I do on my machine now. So I'm just going to create a new. I'm just going to cheat basically and copy. See, this is the problem. I don't use don't use Sublime, so I'll just call it exactly the same thing. I'm just going to call it page2.html. Okay, and then I'll go into Sublime. Oh, sorry, source tree. I'll commit. Okay. Now, what you'll see here at the moment, so if you look in my source tree here, the visual representation, it looks like all that's happened is we've just extended directly from master. And you see how it doesn't look like, visually, this graph doesn't look like any branches have happened on it. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. Okay. But if I go back to master, so my local copy of master, so on this branch here, you can see we've got where are we? Page 2. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. Now, if I go here now, so if I go back to master, see how page 2 disappears from here? Okay. But what I'll do is, just to make this a bit, I'm just going to add. I'm going to change master. I'm going to go changed by Paul. Okay, save that. Then I will also commit that. And drag that over. Okay. And now, do you see how you get this visual representation now? Does that? Can you see that?
Right, yeah.
So the reason for that, to kind of explain what's going on here now, okay? So origin master is the server, right? So we've got a master branch on the server, and that's the same branch that you guys would get if you did a pull right now. Now, ignoring this feature HTML pages for now, my local copy of master, which is the one on my machine, has one commit ahead. You know, I've done a commit, but I haven't pushed, right? Which is why you see this ahead of this tag. Does that make sense? Or does that not make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. James, does it make sense to you?
I want to say yeah.
Okay. So let me show you. Right. So if I actually go into Bitbucket here and click on this. Okay. So and then if I go to commits. So this is source tree, right? So this is what when I talk about origin, where it says origin, anything origin, right, points to the repository on Bitbucket, and this is a repository on Bitbucket. Now, the last commit that it knows about is this commit by Kirsten 13 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Now, can you see here, it's got all branches, and it says here master. So this repository is no different to any other repository. There's nothing special about it except that we've just arbitrarily chosen it as the one that we all communicate with. Now, it just like our branches, it has its own. Sorry, our clones. It's got its own branches. Okay. So it has a master branch. Okay. Yeah. Now, what this is saying in source tree is origin master here is telling me that that's where the Bitbucket repository is at the moment. So master on Bitbucket is at this point. So can you see here? It says here.
Right. Yeah. So locally you're one ahead of what's on the.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. With you now.
So if I do a push now, watch this. If I do a push now, what will happen is all you'll see here, that tag will move from the third one to the top. See that? They're now the same. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. And if I refresh on here, you'll see that now. Look, changed by Paul. Ignoring the other branch for now, it's just showing one line. So can you see how you've got changed by Paul there, and on here it says master and origin master, so we know that they're at the same point. Now, the feature HTML new pages branch, I have to choose to push that, right? So right now you don't know about it, and neither does Bitbucket. Now you might ask why you'd have to kind of choose it. I actually really like that feature. The reason being that it allows you to make kind of private branches, and the reason I like that is because if you're working on a team, say for example you start a new job or something, and you're working on a code base you've never worked on before, you're not quite sure how it all works, you can create a private branch and you can explore the code, make commits and stuff without anybody ever seeing it. And I actually find that really useful for just debugging and playing around and experimenting and that kind of thing.
Right.
Is it making sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So basically, so if you haven't pushed feature new HTML pages, or you have?
No, I haven't at the moment. It's not.
Oh, okay, and that's why it's private. Okay.
Yeah. So you can push it by. So the actual flow is that you. So I mean, if I wanted to do it from the command line, you actually check out the branch. So you're always pushing from the. Well, I think you can actually do it from the command line by just specifying which branch you want to do. But basically, if I go here now, so if I actually go to the branch locally, right? So just to reiterate what's going on here again, let me just stay on master. So remember, on the branch that I created, feature new HTML pages, I created one new file, right? Let me bring that back. So in source tree, I keep saying source tree when I mean Sublime. In Sublime here, let me just get rid of this. In Sublime, you can see here we've got the root folder HTML test. We haven't got an extra file in there. Yep, the page 2 file. When I flip over to that branch again, watch this. Oops. There you go. Do you see that page 2 is there again?
Yeah.
So every branch is everything basically.
It is, but it's actually gets very clever. So it doesn't actually have to make a copy of your entire project. What it does is it understands. It actually has an understanding that this branch was created at this point in time. So all it does is it actually stores the differences between these 2 points.
Yeah.
So even if you had 1 million files, right, it would take less than a second to create a branch. It's really fast for that reason. Yeah. So what I'm going to do really quickly, right, I'm going to make another commit on this branch just to show you. So this is on page 2 now, and I'm just going to go, I'll go in here and go, this is page 2, make a save, and then you should see in here. See this now? I can commit this. I'll just do this. Let's type in here, change some text, like that. I click commit. And now you can see that in the visual representation, I've made 2 commits on that branch now. So if you guys want to create branches, and Kirsten, if you want to change some CSS.
Yeah, I've done that.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yep.
So I've added it, and what did I do? Hang on, sorry. Thought I added it. There we go, added.
Okay, let's see if I can see it.
And then push.
Let's have a look.
Alright, so now do I push it to master or to CSS changes? CSS changes.
Yeah, so just so can you put source tree on again for a second? Yeah, every time you put that Google Plus window on, I see like it's like.
Oh right. Hang on.
Okay, that's okay.
I've got that on. Why do I have that?
Yeah.
Hang
Sorry.
on. Screen. Let me see what it's sharing.
Okay. So what? Oh, if you just want to put the source tree back on again, sorry.
Trying. Hang on. Doesn't seem to want to do that. This one. Come on.
Or you can just drag it over that side, I suppose.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, see, yeah, fair enough.
There you go. So.
Yeah. Oh, hang on, it keeps going back and forth now. That's a bit weird. Well, anyway.
Go back here.
Yeah. Okay. So it just keeps flipping between them. This is really strange. But okay.
Hang on. There.
Okay.
That help? Oh no, I can't see.
It's really weird. I think it's almost like when I speak, it's moving over to me. So I think it's just getting used to. Yeah, that's what it is. You know what it is, right? If you have to, when I select your name in the bottom corner to see your screen, I get like a white border around it, and then I'm actually watching you. If I select again, then it just changes to whoever's speaking. So I was actually seeing my own screen, which is really confusing.
Right. So I have to keep talking while you're.
No, it's okay now because now I've got like a white border around, so it just stays on you. But you have to if you click, it's just really weird user UX kind of thing. Yeah. So if you so what that's doing now is it's saying which branches do you want to push to that repository. So now that you've selected CSS changes, if you click OK. Do
I want to have it tracked?
Yeah, so that what that means is that your local branch will track changes from the remote one. So you pretty much always want to have that ticked.
All right.
Yep. So you're going to click OK.
So OK.
Mm-hmm. And James, have you been able to do a similar thing?
Yeah. Almost. Yep.
Yep. And you've done a few commits, I take it. Oh well, we all need. Okay, so.
Here we are. Well, this is all gone crazy. Right,
Interestingly, Kirsten, just on your screen at the moment, can you see it's showing you that you're one commit behind on master?
Did I not pull at the right time or something?
No, but it's kind of interesting that you can see it. I just wanted to kind of point it out. Do you see where it says master and it's got one and like a down arrow next to it on the left?
Yeah.
It's kind of nice that you can kind of see how far behind you are.
Yeah, that's not bad because I that's one of the problems I have often is losing myself.
Yeah. So if you want to double click on master and then pull and you can just grab it that way. Yeah.
So wait, do I pull remote branch to pull? I want to pull master now.
Oh, hang on a minute, because you're on. Hang on a sec. Right, just to explain how the UX kind of works on here. So can you see the branches that you've got here on the left? Right. So you've got. Do you see how your CSS changes is kind of bolded, and you've got like a So you're currently on that branch.
So I need to check out the master branch.
Yeah. So if you click cancel there and just double click on master.
I double click on it. All right.
Yeah. Double click on it.
Are you sure? Yes. Okay.
Looks like you've got some local changes there. Was this a change that you haven't committed in that branch? If you click on,
don't think so. I was just clicking around. So
if you just go, hang on a sec. If you click close there.
Yeah.
If you click on what it says uncommitted changes at the top of the graph.
Yeah, and commit it.
Yeah, it should show you. So so you just need to commit that. I think it's just like.
Yeah, it was just me. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So if you.
So I just need to add. No, I don't need to add that. What do I need to commit it?
Commit. Yeah, just commit.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And then I want to check out master.
Yep.
Still doesn't like it.
Did you actually commit that though? Oh, hang on. If you click commit again. So you actually have to put the reason in and then just click on commit.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's showing you what's So in the box at the bottom, if you just put in.
I didn't do a message. All right.
Yeah. And then you've got a commit button, and that should do it.
Specificity, is that how you spell it? Maybe.
Specificity, yeah. I always get that, yeah. That's cool. Okay, and then if you push, you should be able to pull without pushing now on master, but you can do it in either direction,
yeah. Pull.
Yeah, pull. James, is this kind of making sense now? Are we kind of
a little bit. My only question really is that I'm looking at these the blobs, if you like, of the graph on the in source tree, and my feature that I've added, my branch, is in a perfect straight line with the original master, if you like. It's not off to the right like the other branches are.
Yep, that's fine. I'll show you. We'll go onto your screen in a minute, and we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Just one sec. So, just seeing what Kirsten's doing. Okay, so you push that. I think that master. I don't think that pull hat works. If you.
No, I think maybe I had to push it first before.
Yeah. If you try, just try now, and then we'll look at James's screen, and we'll go through that. So
pull.
Just click OK on that. That should do it. Yep, that should pull it down. Okay. He says, let's take its time.
There we are.
Ah, cool. Okay. So, I'm just going to flip over to James.
I've merged it.
Oh.
Or did you merge? Wait, hang on.
Oh, hang on. There's a merge happened. What happened then? Let's have a look. All right. Well, it's not too bad because it's just. It looks like you've merged master into CSS changes, so I think you must have selected something.
Yeah, I think I might have been on master when I added the P to block note.
Yeah. Oh, the only problem there is that obviously now. Yeah. Okay. So can you just quickly go to CSS changes again and just make another change and commit that and just push that, just because because now the merge it'll look a bit weird otherwise. Yeah. Just while you're doing that, I'll just go to James. Yeah. It is kind of cool this. I can just flick and go to someone else's screen. Right. So where are we? So let's have a look. Right. So you've got. So we can see quite a bit going on here. So. Only fools and horses, eh?
Yeah, I don't know
why. Okay, so so what was the question you had? Why is it?
Right, so these are the master branch. This is the master branch, right, where my mouse is now.
Yep.
And my branch is in line with the master branch. Why is it not over here in pink or?
Yeah, so this took me. This confused me when I first started out with this stuff, but actually. It's because Git's quite intelligent, right? And basically, you have different kinds of merges. Basically, master. So your branch at the moment is actually just a pure continuation of master. Do you know what I mean? It is like if you were to go back in time, and not back in time. Sorry, if you were to flick over to master and make a change on master, right?
Yeah.
Then master would have a completely alternate history to your other branch. Do you see what I mean? So that would actually create that graphical demonstration for you.
Right.
But because you've just gone in a straight line directly from master, if you wanted to merge these two together, all you really need to do is what's called a fast forward merge, which is when basically you just push master forward a little bit. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
Is it a bit right. So, okay, I'll tell you what.
I always get confused with the fast forward merges.
So, okay, let's try this. Right. So right now, on your screen, James, are you looking at James's screen at the moment?
No, I have to get mine back. Hang on. There it is. Yeah, I am.
Okay. So in source tree, where you've got, do you see where right above the graph where you've got them drop-down boxes and you can see all branches?
Yeah.
Okay, click on all branches and click on current branch. Yep, just click on that. Right, so now you don't see all the other branches, okay? So hopefully, just to get rid of some of the clutter on the page, right?
Yeah.
Now it's just a view, obviously. So basically what's happened is you were on the master branch, right? And then you created a new branch, and then you made 2 more commits after that. Now what this means is that right now, all the commits you've done are it's on the same kind of timeline as master. Master has no differences. Do you know what I mean? The only differences are what's happened in your branch. If you were to go back to master which shall we do that now just to show you? So, okay, tell you what, hang on a second. So in that view, click on master current branch again. Okay, now double click on master on the left hand side where you've got branches. Click on master there. So that will move you over to master for a second. Yeah. Just double click on that.
My master seems to be one behind.
Yeah, that's okay. So okay, hang on a sec. Double click where you've got master here. So can you see where you've got branches? Feature new branch. Yeah, hang on. Yeah, there you go. So you're now on master. Okay, pull that down then. So you're where you should be. So just click on pull. That should bring you back to where you were, or where we are.
Ta-da!
Okay. Okay. God. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a little bit confusing because of that merge that just happened.
Yeah.
That kind of changed things a little bit. So yeah. Okay. Let's just have a look. So okay. Is it a bit confusing for you at the moment, James? Because I can understand that what just happened there will probably look a bit confusing. Is it a bit confusing, or does it?
A little bit, but if you explain it, I'll probably get it.
Okay. So what happened on Kirsten's machine? She created a branch called Origin CSS called CSS Changes. Okay. And then kind of while we were kind of playing about with that, I think she clicked on an option which actually merged the master branch into that one, which just changes the kind of view on your screen at the moment.
Okay.
Right, I'll tell you what. Can we?
So if I merged what I've done in as well.
Yeah. Well, what I want to do is just kind of explain a kind of part of the workflow here. So let's just, for the moment, right? We'll come back to that issue in a minute, right? About the kind of fast forward merge and stuff. We'll come back to that, okay? If that's all right.
Yeah.
But what I want to do is talk about these all these branches that we've got at the moment and a kind of workflow here. So yeah, can you both look at my screen for a second, and I'll pull everything down. So I'm just grabbing everything. Are you both able to see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the kind of rules that we have now, Git's incredibly powerful, and there's all kinds of different workflows that you can have in it. The one that we use, and this is one I used in previous job as well, and it seems to work really well, is that first of all, you never do anything on master. You never commit directly to master. Okay. What you do is master is considered to be a special branch. Now, in reality, it's not a special branch. It's just a normal branch like any other. It just happens to be called master, and it's a default branch for all Git repositories. But in our kind of workflow, we consider master to be a special branch. The reason being that what master represents is working code. So it represents code that we know works, that we're happy with, and we consider it to be tested. So master should always be working. Nothing that's broken should ever get into master, and if it does, then it's an issue and it needs to be fixed like instantly, straight away. Does that kind of make sense as a workflow?
Yeah. So you sort of make your master one right at the beginning, but then everything else you do is done on a branch.
Yeah, and what happens is you do make changes to master, but it's never by committing to it directly. So what happens is we just merge into master. So what I'll do now is so just to show you what's going on, right? Let's just get the context back here. So I just want to see. Okay, so at the moment. Kirsten?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Did you commit your changes to master as well? Because when you merged.
Yeah.
Did you do that? Yeah. Oh yeah, origin master. Okay. Let me just see.
Okay.
Because I see. That's a bit odd. Try that again.
I might have, when there were the two boxes.
Yeah.
I think that seems to throw me.
Yeah, it's just because what's happening at the moment is that master is it's showing me that my master branch is up to date with master, but it can't be because you made that change before.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do for now, because I can ignore that at the moment because we've got this branch here. So I just want to show you this kind of workflow. So what I want to do is I'm going to go to each branch individually, right, on my machine and show you how they're different visually, actually in the browser, and then actually merge everything into master, and we'll take it from there. Does that kind of make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my current master branch at the moment looks like this. Okay. Now I've got a branch here called Feature HTML Pages, which has got I called it page 2, didn't I? So we've got that. That's on this branch. Okay. Now if I go to master, to there because it's not been merged into master. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we've also got. So if I go back to index. So we've got some CSS changes for which will come from Kirsten. See that? Okay.
Yeah.
Now that's on its own branch as well. So we've got the CSS changes there, but of course we won't have page 2 because that's only on my branch. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Yep. Okay. And then we've also got changes that James made. Oh, did you push your changes, James?
I think so.
I don't see anything. Let's just have a look.
I saw some green on James's.
Oh, I think it's because I pushed master, not the one I've done. Hang on.
Okay, that's fine.
Right, it should be pushed now.
Okay, so let's have a look. Pull that down. And this time when I pull a branch, I'll explain something else as well. Yeah, there we go. So it's looking a bit more like what you've got now. So your branch is this one, right? Now, notice, so this is something about the kind of UX and the way Git works, okay? So at the moment, I don't have your branch checked out locally, okay?
Right.
So all I see in my view is origin feature new content on index page. Do you see that?
Mm.
So what that means is that, so remember that I have a local copy of everything, okay? But these kind of tags, if you like, these kind of color things here, they what they do is they tell me what's on both on my local machine and on the Bitbucket repository.
Yeah.
Now, if I double click this, I get this view. Now, what this does, do you see how it says checkout remote branch and new local branch name?
Right.
And then it's got this option, local branch, track remote branch. All that basically means is, if I double click this, it basically means if you look here on the left hand side, these are all the local branches that I've got on my machine that I'm looking at, if you like. So if I click OK, I've now got your branch here as well. And can you see how I've got the extra tag? What that means is I've now got a branch on my machine which copies that same branch on Bitbucket.
Yeah.
So now if I go here, I get that. You see?
Cool.
Okay. But now remember the workflow that we had that we talked about before, which is that you never commit anything directly to master. But what we do is when we're happy with stuff, we merge into master. Do you see what I mean by that?
Right.
So,
okay, yeah.
So imagine, so right now we're using quite simple examples, right? So we're looking at stuff that's, it's pretty simple, but your feature might actually have been, I don't know, it might be a week's worth of work, say. So you might have 20 or 30 commits on that, right? What we can do is you can test all the stuff that you've done individually into it all here, but a code review. So in Bitbucket and in GitHub and places like that, you do something. So instead of just merging into master, we do something called a pull request, and I'll go into this another time. But what happens is, so you know how here can you see in SourceTree we can see all these changes, like I can see that that's the files changed and so on and so forth, right? Well, what happens is, so you basically say that you're happy with the work that you've done, right? So I don't know, we've got a new feature for, let's say, I don't know, you want to be able to download a user report on the system, right? So you've done a bunch of commits on your branch, this feature user report, right? And then you would go into somewhere like GitHub or Bitbucket, and you say create pull request, right? And what that does is it tells everybody on the team. So if we had 10 people working on this project, all 10 people get an email saying James has finished his feature. He's created a pull request, right? And then you get a page, and we'll go into this another time. But you get a page which shows you all the changes that have happened. And basically on even a line-by-line basis. So let's say, looking at this now, let's just say that I'm looking at this code here, and there happens to be something that's not quite right with this, say, this line.
Yeah.
I can actually go into Bitbucket or GitHub, and on a line-by-line basis, I can make a comment, and I can say, this line doesn't quite look right.
I've seen that before. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. So and that's. So you've kind of seen. Have you seen that in GitHub before?
I've seen that on GitHub, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what pull requests and code reviews are all about. But the really good thing about like a code review is that you actually find that over time it really helps improve the code, because generally what happens is you have everybody looking at it at once, right? And you might even have code that works, but maybe it's not quite the best way to do something, for example. And people, as long as everybody kind of agrees that this is something we're going to do, you find that the code will improve, and you get time to make these kind of little improvements, and then push them back. And then when everybody's happy and everybody in the team's seen what's going in, we then say, okay, and we merge it into master, and then everybody gets all the updates on master. But obviously we're not doing code reviews or anything like that here. So again, let's just follow the kind of workflow of only merging into master but never committing here. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So so we've gone through these branches. We know that Kirsten has done CSS changes here. Okay. We've gone through them all. We know that yours is this, and we know that mine goes back to where we were with that, but it has this extra file on it, yeah? Page 2, like that. Yeah?
Yeah.
So there, Kirsten?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Okay, so let's just... so basically, when you merge... I know I'm going through quite a lot here, by the way, James, and maybe it's a bit overwhelming.
No, I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
I know it's fairly late at night as well.
Yeah.
But we'll probably just call it a night soon. But I'll show you this stuff, and then we can kind of go through it. And if you need me to go through it again or explain stuff again, it's not a problem. But hopefully it's a good enough kind of overview. But so we're on master now. Okay, so master has got these changes in, but it doesn't have that, and it doesn't have any of the other stuff. Yeah. So when you merge, you're always merging into the branch that you're on, okay? that's one of the things that confused me when I first started doing this. I always found that a bit confusing. So you're always merging into. That's the thing to remember. So if we start with, let's pretend that we've had a look at Kirsten's changes, and we've checked out her branch. This is one of the things that you can. It's really good though, is that you can actually go to the branch first. You take a look at it and you go, yeah, everything looks good. Happy with that. Okay. So we go back to master. We've gone through all Kirsten's code. We're happy with everything we see. So we say, okay, we're going to merge. CSS changes, and because we're already on the master branch, we're going to merge into. So we selected CSS changes and we click OK. And now we've got this, but we've got the changes. Do you see that? So we've got the same text, but we've got her CSS. Okay. Now, if we go to your new content, so on your branch, we've got that, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, but on master, we've got this, but we're happy with your new content changes, so we're going to say we're going to merge your changes into master. And remember, master is always working code, yeah? So we're going to merge that. We're happy with that. We know there won't be any conflicts because we've cheated a bit. We've made sure there won't be any. See that? So now we've got Kirsten's CSS and your text changes.
Yeah.
But my file won't be there because we've not merged that in yet. So now we go to feature new. Oh, sorry, no, we don't. Well, we can do just to see it again. But then we'll go back to master. And again, it won't be there. And now when we merge that in, we should get, oops, where are we? HTML pages, merge that in. And now what we should get is actually my stuff with her CSS. See that?
Yeah.
So that's a kind of, what's interesting about that though, is now, so I've done all these kind of merges, right? But we've agreed that master is considered to be a special branch, which only has working code on it. Now, what's kind of interesting there, though, is that let's say, so okay, we've got 3 features there that happen to be complete at the same time, right? But let's say we had these 3 features, but you were also both working on other branches as well. Well, what you could now do, because before, because you were saying that one of the problems you've had is that you end up with these big merge conflicts. Now, one of the things that you can do, if you work on feature branches like this, and master is always considered to be a working branch, you never commit directly onto it, it should always be safe to merge, because you don't have to just merge into master. You can merge the other way. So you could also create, you could be working on a branch now that's completely unrelated to all this work, and you suddenly see that master can be updated. You could pull all the changes down from master, and then in your branch, you could actually merge your master into your branch. Do you see what I mean? And if you do it that way round, it means that you don't end up with these big merge conflicts, because it does kind of work quite well.
So saying now we've got to this point, right? Maybe we decided that actually, no offense to Kirsten, but we don't like her CSS. We preferred it how it was before.
Yeah.
Then we could merge master? No, merge my feature into CSS changes because my feature had the old CSS in it. Well, and that would overwrite it. No.
Yeah. What you'd probably want to do is actually stay on the master branch, and so there's a few ways you could do that. Now, if you want to just kind of a really easy way in Sorcery, it's kind of cheating really because we've only got one file in this commit. But what we could do is, this is quite handy actually. I'll show you this. So it's this file here, yeah. So I could do this. I could right click, go on log selected, and I see all the changes. And do you see? I also see who's changed what in history. So I could then say, well, the change that we were last happy with was, say, this one, or even this one. Right click, reset file to this commit, click OK, and then if you go into uncommitted changes, you can see that's actually reverted, and then you have to commit that. And then if I were to commit that, it would kind of undo all those changes.
Okay. So if you commit that now, and then Kirsten goes, no, I want my CSS, and so then she commits hers again because she's still got that on her machine.
Mm-hmm.
That'll sort of undo what you've done.
Not quite. So first of all, I mean that would be a different kind of issue there, because in reality, if that happened, you would actually have a discussion about it. You wouldn't just go on this, this crazy commit ward. You know what I mean? You know, it's not really how it works. You know, but no, yeah. Basically, say if I did that, and then we had a discussion, and it turned out that I was actually in the wrong, and Kirsten's changes were actually fine, right? There's a few ways we could do that. We could actually undo my revert again. Mm-hmm. We could do it that way. Yeah, I mean, it's not. It never really turns out, you know, to be a problem, because it's quite easy to undo things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, having this workflow, I understand. I mean, we've gone through it probably quite quickly there, and maybe it's a bit too kind of. I understand it's quite a lot to take in all at once.
Yeah.
But
I was thinking more of maybe somebody accidentally committing something.
Mm-hmm.
Although I suppose that would only commit on their branch, right?
Yeah, that's true. And what tends to happen is this is what code review really helps with. Now, even if it got through a code review somehow, you could still undo it, right? You could still do that. But code reviews are really, you know, I'm a very big fan of them. It definitely improves the quality of the code, and also what tends to happen is it spreads kind of knowledge throughout the project, because say if Kirsten does a piece of work, and then we all get together to do a code review, it means that I end up reading the code that she's done, and then I can ask her questions about it. As a result of that, I'm learning more about the system, so it's not a big shock to me how such and such a thing works. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
The downside to it, I suppose, is first of all, it can slow down development, because you need somebody to do a code review, right? You know, sometimes people might look at that and say, well, can't we just get it in there? And, you know, that's one kind of potential downside to it. Another potential downside could be just kind of personality clashes, I guess. If people don't know each other and you get somebody who's got a bit of an ego, maybe that could be a problem.
Yeah.
Again, in the BBC, we're quite lucky in that they've got a very kind of it seems to be very kind of focused around developers, and so the whole kind of atmosphere really. And so when it comes to code reviews and stuff like that, everybody seems to be very positive about it.
Right.
So if I get, you know, comments on my code review, I tend to get, it's quite sad and quite nerdy really, but I get excited when I actually get excited if somebody can improve the stuff that I've done somehow. Do you know what I mean? Because I look at it and just go, well, if you're improving what I've done, then I'm only going to learn from that anyway. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's not a negative thing, is it?
No, well, hopefully not. I don't look at it as a negative thing, but some people, I don't know, maybe.
Right,
yeah. But does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm going to push. Oh, hang on, I didn't put. Oh, I've pushed master there. So if I push master now, if you both go over to your master branch and pull that down, you should get all those changes at once. Where are we? Have a look on your screen. It's a shame I can't see two screens at once.
So even though everything's now been merged into master,
yep,
we've still got all these other features. They're still separate.
Yeah, that's true. And you could actually go back to them and carry on. But what tends to happen? So remember the flow. The flow is that master is considered always working code and it's complete stuff. So what you would actually do in reality is you would delete those branches, but actually they're not fully deleted. You're only really deleting the kind of tag to it. So when you actually where are you now? All you need to do, okay. I'm looking at yours, James, at the moment. So, yeah, so you can actually individually pull out those branches like you just have there.
Yeah.
You don't even need to, because if you just go to master, you double click on master, you've got all those merges in there already, because I did it and then pushed it.
Yeah.
So
theoretically, I could actually delete this branch now.
Yeah, you could.
I don't need that, do I? Because I've got it in master.
But what you'll find if you delete it, it'll only delete the actual tag. So can you see where you've got where it says origin CSS changes and CSS changes in the graph view?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would actually delete the remote branch. But if you just click OK now, so that will just delete the tag. So click OK. Yeah, do you see that now? And it still says origin CSS changes. Do you see that?
Yeah, yeah.
So
that's on the server, not on my machine.
Exactly. You've just deleted your local copy of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, at any time you can still the history is always still there, so you can go back if you needed to.
Sorry, Kirsten, you must think I'm really picking on your CSS.
No.
Cool. Well, I'm going to pick on Paul's work as well.
Oh yeah, here we go. This is where I get really, really sensitive over code reviews now. Prima donna.
Improved it. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, yeah, with you.
Yeah. So if you double click on your master branch now, and if you go, because you have to actually be on it. So if you double click it, that's it. So now you're on it. You set a little icon next to master. On where you've got branches on the left hand side, you've got like a tiny little kind of tick thing there.
Yeah, yeah.
That means you're on that branch, and also it's bolded, but you can't see it because you've got the blue thing around it. But if you now go into your browser, you should see all those changes. So if you go into your browser,
yeah, if I can remember where I was.
You should have it.
I did it in. Yeah, sorry.
But I mean, I'd recommend, on any personal work you're doing, I'd really recommend using version control straight away. I mean, it's something that it's literally the very first thing that I do on any project. I mean, do you see there now? You've got Kirsten CSS, you've got your text changes, and if you were to go to page2.html, you'd also have my changes as well. If you really wanted to, I mean, I don't mind. We could go into merge conflicts and stuff, but if it's getting late and it's hard to concentrate, that's fine. But yeah, so you can see that because the way I kind of did it, we deliberately didn't have any merge conflicts there. Do you know what a merge conflict is?
Well, yeah, I'd guess when two people edit the same file and then try and push the changes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's ways we can deal with that, and like I say, if you want me to kind of go through it now, I don't mind. If you're tired,
do you think it should be done as a different video?
We can do. I mean, it's getting late and stuff, so I've no, if people want to chill out, that's not a problem with me. I think Kirsten's got some true.
I'm a bit jet lagged, so I'm sort of.
True
not too momentous. So.
Okay, well, I'm happy to reconvene sort of any evening, really.
Yeah, well, we'll have a chat with people in the forum and stuff, and kind of see what they think. I mean, it went on. We spent a good couple of hours there, didn't we? But see what people think and stuff, and if we can get everybody on a call again, and we can try and we'll talk about code reviews and. Merges and that kind of stuff. And if it snowballs and stuff, and we keep going, I'd like to show you how test-driven development works. And because the actual, the kind of satisfaction that you can have by just literally clicking on a button and seeing whether your own code is broken is it's kind of mind-blowing when you first start doing it. It's really cool. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then let's organise through the forum to sort of meet back and go forwards next step then.
Yeah, and also if you've got any questions, I mean, I appreciate I probably went through that maybe a bit too quickly. I don't know. What I'd say is.
Sorry, sound's gone off.
Oh, my sound's gone off. Can you hear me?
I can hear.
All right. I think James. Okay, I think he's Hang on a sec. Get in the chat. Can you hear us?
Hello?
James, can you hear us? Apparently not.
He's still on the...
Yeah, he's still there. Oh,
yeah.
He's got playtest. I don't know what's going on there.
Maybe he hit the microphone?
Yeah, I don't know. Has he got... I don't know.
Or internet connection.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe. Sorry, I heard you up to... actually, I can't remember what I heard you up to.
It is getting a bit late. But yeah, I mean... Basically, I've forgotten what I was saying now. That's the great way to finish, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, yeah. So if I've gone a bit too quickly, or whatever, just anything that you don't understand, just message us in the forums and we'll go through it.
Yeah, I think as we go forwards and we use it more, it'll get more and more clear. It's that kind of kinesthetic thing of actually doing this all the time for it to sink in. Just
before we go, do you want me to really, because it's really easy to set up a Git project, and what I was going to say is, have you got any work that you're currently doing that you want to get into Git? Because if you do, I can show you in like two seconds how to do it, and then you'll have it in source tree.
Yeah, I could. Well, yeah, for argument's sake, let's just set one up so I can redo my own website, because I should do that soon anyway.
Okay, so you can probably do it in source tree, but we'll do it. We'll just quickly do it from the command line because it's only a couple of commands. It's really simple. So if you want to, can you go into the command line and just cd into whatever project it is?
Let's create first then.
Okay, so just create something and just create some fake file or something like that. I'll show you how to do it. We never really spoke about what our kind of backgrounds and stuff, did we? I think that's what you're supposed to do when you first start one of these. I don't know.
It'll take me a few days to sort out what I should say. I don't even know my background.
Have you both been doing like web development for a long time and that kind of stuff? And
3 years.
All right.
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been doing it for an embarrassingly long time, considering what I know. So.
Go on. How long have you been doing it, out of interest?
Well, I mean, I sort of just followed it as a hobby for since about 98.
Wow.
Oh right.
I was 10.
Yeah.
Well, mind you, I think I had I'm pretty sure I had it like a GeoCities account in '98 or something.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really. I mean, I used things like Front Page, and I just sort of toyed with it. I wasn't, working in it per se, but yeah, sort of just around it for a long time, and then just kept doing more and more sites, and then eventually just made it profession.
Yeah.
So
what kind of languages do you know as well? I mean, just out of interest.
Oh wow. Well, I started HTML or XHTML at the time, and CSS, and then PHP, JavaScript, more jQuery probably these days, although I'm getting into the frameworks a bit. But yeah, I do a lot of WordPress sites mainly.
Yeah, WordPress is something that I've kind of avoided. I had to do one kind of WordPress site in the past, and God, I can be, to be honest, I mean, I don't know, I'm probably a bit of a snob when it comes to code or something, because I had to do something to like, what did I have to do now? It's quite complicated, the system we had to do, and we had to combine kind of two systems into one, and we had to have WordPress log. We had like this WordPress front end, but the back end, which was like an admin panel, was written in the Zen framework, and
oh right, yeah.
I had to somehow hijack WordPress so that it could log into both through the one login.
Yeah. No, I generally use it as WordPress. I don't usually. Well, I wouldn't say it completely, but I wouldn't. I don't usually suggest it for things that aren't WordPressy to begin with.
Yeah,
I think that's a problem with WordPress, isn't it? People they understand it, so they try and force it for every single possible scenario.
Yeah.
Agencies are so bad for it, some of them.
Yeah, that's
why I shy away from it a little bit, I think.
Yeah,
but there's also a lot of client demand for it. You have clients who don't really know what they're talking about. They think
that's even more concerning.
SEO, something like that, and that's not necessarily true. But once you have somebody who's dead set on it, it's a bit difficult to talk them out of it. And then cost-wise, it's so much faster and cheaper to use, or WordPress. There are lots of plugins, things like that. So
yeah.
So it works well for a certain level.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. I think if I was doing that kind of, like you say, the kind of bloggy, WordPressy kind of sites, then I probably. I mean, I say that I had my own WordPress blog, which I forgot all about, but I don't have it anymore. I had this cooking website for a couple of years, and then I just got a mortgage and didn't have enough money to buy expensive ingredients anymore and stuff like that. So, yeah. Oh, did you make that file, James? I'll quickly show you how to do it. I just realised that we're going to have this video
on
YouTube and we're just yattering away, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I've created the folder. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Do you want to just open up your command line again? I'll just show you how to do it there. Again, I'm sure it's easy enough in SourceTree. For some reason, I always create the projects in the command line. Generally, I tend to use the command line quite a lot, but I just think I use SourceTree as well because it's really nice to know what changes have occurred, and I just find it really clean kind of interface. But okay. So yeah, so if you type so to create a Git repository, just type git space init, like init. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I shouldn't have done that. I should have done that inside of the HT shouldn't I?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, well, it depends what you want in version control. What's build? What does that represent?
Build would just have like designs and stuff in there.
But would you want that in version control as well? Because you could do that. There's nothing to stop.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Yeah, let's do that too then. Yeah.
Okay. So now you've created the repository, but what you also need to do, so you need to make a commit first of all. But before you can do the commit, you actually have to tell Git to add the files. So a way to add all the files is if you type git add, but don't press enter yet. Yep, git add and then space and just put a dot, and that will tell it to add everything in the project, and then press enter. Yep.
Yeah.
That'll add everything. Should do. It's taking its time, isn't it? Okay, and now you can do a commit. So if you do git commit, if you do an LSA AL, that'll show you the hidden directory which has the Git directory in it.
Okay.
Yeah, git commit
so
and then. Oh, hang on! Don't just do git commit. You have to do git commit. Oh, hang
on. Control C.
Yeah.
Quit.
All right. Yeah, because it's asking for the commit message. I was going to say you can just do it from the command line. You can do git commit and then -m for mother. And then in quotation marks, just put your comment. So
lower M.
Yeah, -m, yeah, little m, and then just do a quotation and just put whatever first commit. That's it. And then,
like that.
Yeah, double quote. Yeah, that's it. And then there you go. That should do it. And then press enter. Okay, that's done it. And now, if you were to drag that folder into SourceTree, it would just be a standard Git repository. What you can also do in Bitbucket. So now that you've created a Bitbucket account, you can create any number of free private repositories. So you could then start pushing up to that repository, even if you're working on your own, because that means anywhere you can be anywhere in the world and you can just pull all your code down. You'll never lose it.
That's cool. Is there any sort of file size limits on Bitbucket? Like, am I going to get trouble?
I'm not aware of any. I mean,
I don't think so. I think the only, what is the restrictions? You can have private repositories. I think a certain size of group.
Yeah,
you can.
I think you're right.
There's some charges that are applied to some. It's to do with groups, but pretty much anything you want. I've got loads of really big projects, just really bloated things on.
Yeah. It actually amazes me that they can do that basically for free. Like you say, I think it's 5 people or more. I think.
Yeah. It's some restriction on group size.
Yeah, but I think
unlike GitHub, where you can't have a private repository without paying. I think the default is private.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I mean, I think GitHub's amazing as well. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, we might actually do this on GitHub in the end because we will do it as a public kind of open source thing when we actually get to it.
Right.
So I mean, I don't see any reason to make it private really, unless everybody wants to. But it doesn't really bother me too much.
I think GitHub might be better if we're going to have more than 5 people.
Yeah, because obviously we will do. Well, I think we will do in the end.
Yeah, we're already 3.
Yeah. So what I'd want to do is to get into the kind of code review process and all that kind of stuff, and eventually, I mean, I can give you a sneak kind of insight into the way I hope it'll kind of work, because I don't know if either of you are familiar with a technology called Vagrant.
Yeah.
You know Vagrant? Yeah. Okay, so I've created a Vagrant machine for this already. So just to explain to James what it is so it's like a virtual machine. So normally, say if you're working on a PHP project, right, and you're working with another developer, you can have a situation where maybe you've got a slightly different version of a library installed or something like that, and maybe you get this thing where it works on your machine but it doesn't work on someone else's. Well, what Vagrant does, it's a really neat way of creating this kind of encapsulated kind of server, if you like, virtual machine. So basically, what you do is you would type one command on the command line, and then Vagrant takes over, and what it does is it goes off to the internet, and it will grab a version of Linux that I've kind of set up for this. It downloads that, and then it will provision it, so it puts all the exact software that we want on there, sets it up exactly, or does it all from one command, and then basically you can just edit your files locally like you would in Sublime normally, but we get rid of this, it doesn't work on my machine kind of thing. So it works really well. But yeah, I mean that's something that again we'll do like a little kind of broadcast about that. But I've already created a machine. I might need to tweak it a little bit, but I've already got it, so hopefully it'll be quite useful. Anyway, it's nearly 10:30, so.
11 for me.
All right. Are you? Where
I'm in France.
Oh right. Okay. Didn't realise that. Whereabouts in France are you?
Paris.
Oh wow, that's far more impressive than Altrincham, which is where I am.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been to Paris. I've got a friend.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got back, so yeah,
well.
I missed it.
Where have you been?
I went to Florida.
Oh.
Yeah. Saw alligator. It was actually. It's very hot. It was great, but it was hot.
Wow. Yeah, it's a first world problem, isn't it?
yeah. I feel so sorry.
Went to Florida. What I'd say though is, if you've got any questions, then just kind of post them on the forum or whatever, and just have a practice with it, and hopefully that kind of workflow of having, master is considered to be like a special branch that only has kind of working code in it. I mean, we found it works really well for us, especially when you get into the code review kind of stages, and that stuff really is kind of locked down and always kind of working. But yeah, is that all right for now?
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, thanks, Paul.
All right, well, cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah, cheers for coming along, and I'll post the link to the. I think the video should appear in about 20 minutes or something. So yeah, it's all good anyway, and everyone else can watch us kind of waffle on for 2.5 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah. All right, nice one. Cheers.
Cool, nice one.
All right.
Take care, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.